When someone asks me what game they should play, the answer is always the same. I would have to say Skyrim. Ooh, it was magnificent, and this reveal did it justice.
In their tongue, he is Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
However, this was nearly 15 years ago. Now sure, the game was great, but I think it says less about Skyrim and more about how long we've been waiting for something to replace it. Because the truth is, we've had plenty of open world games since then. Bigger worlds, better graphics, more advanced technology, yet the story-filled genre of medieval fantasy felt perfectly done only through Skyrim. Now it's not like fantasy games just disappeared. We've had incredible releases since then, with games that pushed the genre forward and even won awards in the process. Baldur's Gate 3 showed the world that a medieval RPG could still capture players' imaginations. However, it did it in a completely different way. You see, combat was different than what people are typically used to, and it wasn't really an exploration open world game either. It was more about your choices, the characters, and a story that reacted to everything you did. It delivered one of the greatest RPG experiences ever made, just not the same experience that Skyrim gave us. And I think that's exactly why Skyrim's absence feels so noticeable. No one has really recreated that mystical feeling of simply picking a direction, walking into the unknown, and discovering an adventure waiting around every corner. And maybe that's the problem. For years, studios have tried to build the next Skyrim by making worlds that are bigger, adding on better graphics as the new generations allowed for it, and attempting to create ambitious new mechanics. But what made Skyrim special wasn't really any of those things. Remember, the game came out in 2011. That's a long time ago. What made it special was the characters that you met, mixed with the freedom the world handed you and the feeling that every corner has something waiting for you. And when I watched the new Fable trailer, I felt those same emotions for the first time in years. It looks like a true open world adventure, a world that reacts to your choices, combat that looks fun without losing its fantasy charm, towns packed with characters and side stories, and most importantly, a world that feels alive. But of course, recreating that feeling is much easier said than done, because even Bethesda, the studio behind Skyrim, has been struggling to capture that same magic again. Fallout 76 launched in disastrous fashion, and Starfield had enormous expectations but left many players disappointed. Although we can hope for the next Elder Scrolls to be greater than Skyrim, it's difficult not to hold on to doubts as a result of Bethesda's recent underwhelming production. Todd Howard himself has admitted Bethesda regrets revealing the game as early as they did, back in 2018. And look, that's fair. Development clearly wasn't ready, and maybe someone jumped the gun. But this is Bethesda's largest game, and with every passing year that it gets pushed back, it makes fans wonder where it actually stands on the company's priority list. Recent updates from Bethesda suggests that Elder Scrolls 6 is still years away, with a new hype generated by the Fallout show seeming to yet again push Bethesda away from Skyrim, with pre-production starting for Fallout 5. This again leaves fans with the same two questions they've been asking for years. When is Elder Scrolls 6 actually coming out? And after all this waiting, will it even live up to the hype? For me, I've started to explore away from Bethesda. With all the recent news in AAA gaming about remasters, PlayStation stepping away from physical game copies, and Grand Theft Auto 6 seeming to cost an arm and a leg in today's economy, it's given me little faith in the new market. So instead of looking forward and hoping the next big release delivers a great experience, I found myself looking back at the games that I already did. Games like Skyrim. And maybe that's why Fable feels so important to me right now. I think Fable has seemed less like a game I'm hyped for, and maybe more like a game I want to be hyped for. I think that in some way, I'm tired of being let down. I've been here before after all, with Bethesda itself. I remember counting down the days until Fallout 76 launched, only to watch the excitement disappear as it became clear how unfinished and directionless the game was. The fall of 76, a YouTube video covering everything that went wrong, has since been viewed nearly 40 million times. Now, the new Fable is being worked on by Playground Games, which is known for racing games. Now hold up a second, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, Forza Horizon is one of the most respected open-world franchises in gaming. Playground Games has proven that they understood how to build massive environments and create a sense of exploration, but building a racing world and building a fantasy RPG are two completely different challenges. A racing game can just focus on beautiful locations and satisfying mechanics. A game like Fable, however, needs something much harder. Memorable characters, meaningful choices, engaging quests, a story that connects with players, and a world that feels alive even when you're doing nothing. Those are the things that made games like Skyrim so special. And trusting a studio to suddenly master that kind of experience is a scary expectation, especially when they're stepping into a genre where even experienced RPG developers are struggling in. With all of these points on Fable's shoulders, it shows that it doesn't just have to be a great game. It has to convince an entire generation of RPG fans that after 15 years, maybe the wait might finally be over. Will it replace Skyrim? Maybe not. Skyrim wasn't just a great game, it became a cultural phenomenon that justified re-releasing it 15 times across 11 different platforms. But maybe replacing Skyrim isn't the goal. Playground Games chose Fable because the series has always been about exploration. The Fable franchise already has a strong fanbase, and maybe putting this level of effort into the Fable universe is more impactful than trying to recreate someone else's success. Because every legendary game started as something new. The best games aren't remembered because they replaced something else. They're remembered because they gave players a new adventure worth remembering. And after 15 years of searching for the next Skyrim, maybe it's time we give another world the chance to become something special. This has been Carrot Makes. Drop a like and subscribe if you get the chance, and I'll see you next time.